Anasazi also built jars as some of their pottery. Their jars have little hooks on the sides so they could hook them on hooks. All the jars were different. Some were tall, skinny, round, short, and some of them were even tipped sideways so that it would look like they were going to fall over. The designs on their pottery were things like zigzags, diamonds, flames, geometric shapes, stripes, and a lot more. Nowadays, the searchers find a lot of amazing Anasazi pottery. They say their pottery is very ancient. The Anasazi use their pottery to put flowers in or maybe even for decoration. Out of all their pottery I've seen, I think that Anasazi have the most talented pottery. And then, the Anasazi make a lot of baskets. The baskets are from weavers. The Anasazi make their baskets out of grass, skin from animals, or from bones. The baskets they make even have designs on them. The designs they put on baskets are things like diamonds, swirls, steps, and shapes, kind of like the pottery. Some of the baskets they make, they put on tops or covers, and some of them they don't just get covered. They just get left open. The Anasazi had a period of time called easy basket makers because their baskets were held so tightly that they could put water in them. The period lasted until 400 AD. Most of their baskets that had water in them, they could put cold water in the baskets and put their really hot rocks in the baskets. And then their culture. While the Anasazi were growing crops, they needed rain. They asked the rain spirits. When they asked, they did rain dances and held festivals. Anasazi would also build kivas for religious teachings and rituals for the Anasazi. After that, it soon became a meeting place for clans and tribes. The Sipaho in the middle of the kiva is the first place the ancestors came to the world. Now the kiva is a sacred place where there's just space and room for energy. The Anasazi had a desert culture where they learned to live off the land, and they even figured out how to make the land work out good. Their culture is really interesting. And the Anasazi lived in mesas or steep cliffs. Their villages dotted the landscape. This made it easy to defend. They did live in huts in the ground. These were hard to defend from intruders. For agriculture, they farmed intensely. They planted large and small patches of land. The longer they farmed, the less they hunted. They planted corns, beans, and squash. They would also gather wild plants. The Anasazi weren't much of hunters. They were more farmers. The weapons they did have were knives, axes, and bow and arrow. They had domestic wild and livestock animals. For domestic animals, they had dogs. For the wild animals, they were wild turkeys. And for the livestock, they had turkeys. The turkeys ate grasshoppers and other small insects. And their clothing, men wore shirts and kilts or a man's shirt, but they also wore shirts and pants made from fabric or wool. Women wore colorful cotton dresses and both used blankets as wraps.
Any questions?
What's the brown thing made
That's
of?
what that doors. If you guys were wondering what this was, they sewed cotton and they grew cotton.
Yeah.
And then that's how they made their cotton dresses.
What is the black swirly thing?
This is their basket. This is kind of the designs they had on them. And some of them had covers and some of them didn't. So this is one of the jars and the hooks. This is what their pottery looked like. It kind of went in here. It's supposed to be flipped around. But
Colin, do you have anything to add?
No.
and this is what their houses look like, but they are much taller. And I don't think we would have had enough time to build 37, about 400 rooms, because it would have taken a while.
A ladder is how they got up.
A ladder is how they got up into their rooms, and if they were on the top.
Okay, very good.